the big question, I think, and I'm probably taking these out of order, but I think it's a good place to start, is are we, when we are doing this imaginal work, and if it's for someone that's maybe not interested or whatever, like are we taking these people's power from them? Are we, like, by my imaginal work, am I making someone a zombie and they're gonna magically fall in love with me, even though they're maybe in another relationship? Or am I, is it like, I don't know, give me your thoughts. I don't want to go off on some crazy tangent, but I mean,
yeah, no, it's a good question. I think when you do your imagining and then you project something onto somebody, you are creating something for you. Now, the other person, and this is why, I don't agree with people saying it's manipulative or it's witchcraft or you're controlling or you're interfering or whatever. The other person still has to agree and receive what you have sent. So you just line up with what you want, you project it out. As long as you're not turning into a stalker, which, I do get a lot of emails from people that, call people 50 times in a day and check people's social media. I don't advise that. And if you're in doing the self-love stuff, that stuff is not in line with radiating love out to someone or being really using the law of attraction and the law of projection in its sensible form.
and that was kind of what I was talking about with my video today. Was there are times where I think we are so dead set on manifesting something that maybe ended for a reason. Like, I think there's those steps we take in life, like we've talked about, I think on the last time even we talked, that when you're trying to manifest even maybe a bigger house and a lot of other things, there can be things that come along with that. And relationships are kind of similar. Like there's, as we get older and older, I think there's just an implied baggage because people in general have their past. All of us do. And you drag some of that with you no matter where you're at. And I think I think sometimes relationships shouldn't continue for the best of both parties. And I wonder, I guess, how, if we try to force our manifestation, like I want Susie so badly, but like I was horrible to Susie, right? Like that should, I think of those are the, like I tried to talk about that today. Those are sort of the scenarios where I worry that people maybe are trying to manifest something and getting frustrated that it's not working.
Yeah.
So what do you have thoughts on that? Or
well, yeah. No, I think, I think it's a good point. I do see there's a big difference between attraction and addiction. And sometimes when people want a specific person, I see a lot of addiction. I see a lot of, I still need you to love me so that I can feel good. So if you do a lot of the self-love work, eventually what happens is your addiction to the person, which really is, I want to get love from the outside, because basically I'm too lazy to do it myself. And I know that's going to sound a bit hardcore, but it is. I don't want to spend the time loving myself. I'm just going to get you to do it. And in the end, the person feels that and runs away because they've got their own job of loving themselves, and then they don't want another job of loving you on top of it.
Well, that's that equal energy thing again, right? I mean, don't you kind of attract what the energy is that you're putting out there, right? So if you're not energetically ready for where this person is, it's really hard to get to that place that you're wanting to get to. I mean, you still have two human bodies trying to meet.
Yeah. But you always get whatever you project about them. So if you're projecting, if you're chasing, like you're not radiating love and you are still in the chasing mode, energetically chasing the person, because it's, you project, I need, and then they run away. Until you get the real essence of self-love has to be first, and I'm radiating and giving to them. I'm not trying to take from them, because a lot of this stuff with self-specific people, I still feel from many people, It's that I'm doing the self-love, but I'm still trying to take from them. And when that happens, the people don't come back because energetically they feel it. And they're a vibrational match to you. You're in need, so need then repels and they run away and they don't give you love. So you have to really do the foundation work. Really, you got to do more than probably, I would say, you got to do 75% self-love stuff and 25% specific person stuff. And also you got to ask yourself, if I want a specific person, am I really still just trying to get love from them? And you got to be honest with yourself about that. And usually the evidence will tell you anyway. If the person's nowhere near you, they've blocked you on whatever platform, they've told you, I don't like you, please leave me alone. That's a good indicator that your need and your longing and your desperation, because it does tip into that level of, that level of need. No one wants to be around that. So they run.
Yeah.
And then you feel the absence of them, and then you feel a lot of pain, and then you live in that pain when you really don't have to. You can do the self-love and get yourself back up. Sometimes, obviously, as we know, a broken heart takes time to repair. But the sooner and the quicker you can do the self-love and do the use that time to really focus, I'm going to give love to me, and I'm going to let them off the hook from trying to get them to do it, because you're really dealing with what they call in 12-step fellowships, love addiction. And there are many, many groups, 12-step groups. There's a Love and Sex Addicts Anonymous group that people go to share about this stuff. So you can be around people that are trying to recover from it. But also, you got to address within yourself, it's like a spiritual disease. If you are so desperate seeking a specific person relentlessly, it's fine if you're doing it from a distance, you're doing your own work, you're allowing them to not like you or allowing them to just be and say, you know what is it in me? Like this whole thing about everyone's you pushed out, what is it in me that has created you to act that way towards me? And if it's an absence, then you've got to dissolve that within you.
I agree. I think we get very addicted to relationships, and the ones that I think are very vocal about, hey, why aren't we getting back together? Why isn't it happening quicker? Why this? Why that? Why these are the people? It's like I want to cite, because manifestation techniques work perfectly.
Yeah,
but I know, right? Anyway, but they work perfectly, and I think trying to use them in a way that's not within your life purpose, your life path, not within self-love. And by the way, that's like, I didn't even offer that question, but I think without a doubt we're going there next, because I think that I'm curious in two ways on the self-love thing. Let's go there now. When it comes to the case of self-love, how do you bring that up? Because it seems sometimes it's good to remind people of the basics. And I think frequently we need to do that. And that's kind of where I've been trying to balance shows, right? I got time for X number of shows, it seems. How do I balance in the good stuff, manifestation, teach some really cool techniques that people can use and learn and love. But also on top of that, like you said, 20% self-love, which, 4 times a week, I'm a little shy, or over maybe. But how do we get to that point where you're reminding people, here's the self-love, and we don't lose them, because most people want the thing right now. They want to experience it. They want the gratification.
Well, and that's how they get in the door. Like they come and with a lot of the viewers from my YouTube channel, they look up, how do I attract a specific person? And yes, I've done about 3 or 4 meditations on that. So they go to that, and then they go, okay, then I usually get some kind of comment or an email saying, look, I've been doing this for like a month, nothing's happening. It's like, okay, so what are you doing? What are you expecting?
Right.
What are you're doing? Are you doing any self-love for you? Because if you just hop to, this is the thing that people often do when they first come to this specific person subject, is they hop straight to, I'm going to manifest a specific person, and they try and send love to that person rather than filling themselves up, feeling love for themselves, and then sending love, that specific person will know if you love them more than you love yourself. And that's when they don't come back. In my experience and watching the mechanics of people do this over the years, whether it's a man or a woman you're trying to manifest, if they have been around you and then they finally ran away from you because you emotionally freaked them out, because that's what you've done. You've emotionally tried to take so much, and they are exhausted and they're angry usually, and they've left you hostile, because that's when people block you and do all that stuff. It's that you've drained them energetically. You've vampired them of you've take, and they got sick of it because you weren't an adult and you weren't there to give love. You were there to take it. So I've totally forgotten my point.
No, but the point, well, no, you've led us to the perfect place. I think, and this might even be like where we cut, to the next one, but who knows?
Yeah.
But the whole point is, okay, so I get out of a relationship, and there's reasons why that relationship failed, why that wasn't working, why we were having problems that we were having. So I finally come to terms. I finally accept, like you were saying, 12 steps, they're going through the phases or wherever you're at in this whole process.
Yeah.
Like I finally accept that, I was a jerk, man. I was a jerk hold of this person, and I loved her, but I was very controlling, or I was very this, or I was very that. Okay, great. Now, awesome. I've come to that knowledge. So when these people are asking, okay, so how do I pursue self-love? Yeah, I get there's meditations. That's fun. But like daily basis, give me some steps. Give me a couple thoughts on
how to do that.
Yeah, first couple thoughts. Yeah.
Well, and I'll use myself as an example, because I still do this stuff today. And it is the backbone of everything that I do. Even before sharing it with other people, I have to practice what I'm talking about. So every day, I wake up whenever I wake up, and I put on like an ambient music, Wayne Dyer meditation. It's just music at all. There's nothing. And then I can overlay what I want to do. So in the first 20 minutes, I just do, I love you to myself, and I radiate love from my heart to every part of my body. It's good for my health. It's good for my mental state. And it unhooks me from, at whatever point in the day, looking for love from someone else, whenever or however. So it gets me ready. So I do that. There's 2 parts to that meditation, 40 minutes a day in the morning. Go for a walk to do some exercise for about an hour and 15. Affirmations. I'm loved. I'm wanted. I'm secure. I am deserving. I am worthy. I am supported. I am attractive. I am free. Those meditations for the entire hour and a half while walking. So reinforcing what I am, not what I'm not. So doing that then. Throughout the day, at some point, listening to a YouTube or 2, Neville Goddard or Louise Hay or Abraham Hicks. As we know, there's a whole toolbox of fantastic people. Listening to something positive and putting that in. And then during the evening, again, a 40-minute to 1 hour meditation, again, emphasizing the self-love. So when you add all that up, it's about 3 hours a day. People go, 3 hours? I haven't got 3 hours. Well, maybe you don't. I mean, I do, coaching people. So I've got lots of pockets during the day where I can do that. When I was working, I was still doing 3 hours a day because I was suffering from a heartbreak. And I thought, I've got to correct this within myself. So I get home from work, I'd shut the door, I lived alone, and I would spend my evenings with the TV off, and I would do exactly the things I've just told you. So even when I was working 5 days a week, I made it a priority because I knew I had to correct the I'm unloved or I just don't feel good in whatever way. There was always some I don't feel good feeling. So it was learning and practicing to change that not good feeling into I am loved. And it's like that is still the backbone and the steps, because you asked for steps, and I think steps are the mechanics of step by step by step. So that's how I do it, and that's what really, really works for me. And I do feel good a lot of the time. Do I feel good all the time? No. So,
and that's, I think, a really important part to remind people is we don't feel perfect 100% of the time either.
No.
I mean, that's a big, big part of manifesting things is, I'm a human. And like you, so in the morning, I might spend a few minutes in the shower while I'm meditating, putting some
Yep.
mental energies towards it.
Yep.
I take a short nap in the middle of the day at lunch
Yep.
in my car, and I do it
Yep.
while I fall asleep there. And then before I go to bed every night, I do some solid imaginal work. I'm going bare bones minimum, and I'm just having fun. I'm kind of testing it right now, and
Yeah.
I will tell you, I am seeing a lot of things happen just with that amount. So it's not, you can do it like Agnes is, you're doing it perfectly. So you're like the advanced person. I'm like, maybe beginner, intermediate person. So you can do it a little less than that if you want. If you got just a little time before you go to bed, then spend a little time before you go to bed and you're too busy in the shower because,
Exactly.
X, Y, and Z, or Z, sorry.
Yeah. But it's true. You pick your pockets, pockets during the day, 10 minutes here, 15 minutes here, like you do at lunchtime in the car. People often just go and have a cigarette and a cup of coffee and then start worrying about stuff.
I miss those days, if that counts. Those were good days. Those were very good days. Yes. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah. Yeah, we all had our thing, didn't we? But we were also probably not as, I would say, happy deliberately than we are today.
I agree with that.
It's deliberate. You don't just randomly end up happy. It's a deliberate mental habitual thought patterns that get you there.